I'm the product of indoctrination. I dare say that goes for most of the population. It took me almost my entire life to wake up to things that have been in front of me my whole life and are blatantly obvious. I think that goes for most of the population as well, except for the waking up part. We still have quite a bit of that left to do. When I say indoctrination, I'm talking about things that allow us to believe in marketing gimmicks, things that allow us to continue the lives that we are accustomed to living because change is inconvenient. And you know, when I made the Shame a Point raise 4 years ago, my primary motivator was the emotions I felt when I visited the pins of the calves. I didn't even know about the rest of the problems yet. And then finding out that one of the saddest things I've witnessed is being protected and expanded at the expense of wildlife, at the expense of the health of the habitat. And then you find out that we're paying for it too. And then you learn all the other lies about the poor, struggling, small family farms that are actually full of dynastic wealth and power. Some people were very happy to see the film and expressed thank you for saying what I've wanted to say. Other people weren't too thrilled about it. It made people uncomfortable. The truth is uncomfortable. And in my defense, what I'll say is all I did is walk up and turn on a camera. There's no CGI, there's no lies, and if what reality shows you makes you uncomfortable, then the filmmaker isn't the problem, reality is. And people say, why are you picking on the poor ranchers? But they're far from poor. And this indoctrination that this industry is unquestionable is part of why something this heinous remains one of the best kept secrets in an area right next to it. And it's not an accident. I dare say there's a fair amount of effort that goes into making sure we don't wake up, including greenwashing and including this idea that, well, as long as there's something worse to look at, like a factory farm, then this is okay. But it goes beyond that. Because I want you to remember that as sad as the footage in the film was, and in that short supplemental I did a couple years later at McClure Ranch, that's as good as it gets. That's the best case scenario of the dairy industry. Everything else you see will keep you up at night, disturbed to your soul. This wasn't an undercover mission going into the darkest depths of dairy. It doesn't get better than this. So we're back to the indoctrination of self-declared most intelligent species on the planet, believing that we require drinking our entire lifetimes the lactations of a bovine during her pregnancy cycle. And we're so indoctrinated that even part of the people that are in the battle against point raise still don't want to give it up. What is that other than indoctrination? And that doesn't help. And I see that all up and down Highway 80. And on the way here, I was passed by 6 clover trucks, each with some variation of family and nurturing and happiness. You do not ever see a baby with its mom. That's the opposite of the dairy industry. The baby boys, and this is even at small organic dairies, out of the mouths of people that worked at that dairy telling me this, the baby boys are separated from their mom within 24 hours. They're worthless other than the cheap meat that they provide when they get trucked off with all the other baby boys to the auction for slaughter. The girls are a little bit luckier. They get to stay with their mom for 36 hours before spending their lives in isolation until they're ready to be impregnated and go through the same thing their mothers go through their entire lives. If anyone, I've been accused of emotional manipulation by showing reality. That's emotional manipulation, and that's a flat out lie. There's nothing true there, and they're allowed to spend. And guess what? Your tax dollars don't stop at the ranching subsidies. They actually go toward marketing expenses as well to keep an industry that has no right surviving so that you can be brainwashed into thinking that one of the worst things, cruelest, most unsustainable industries in existence is a good thing. And it's happening in a national park on your dime at the expense of wildlife, not just the elk. The elk, rightfully so, deserve attention for their missing treatment. But if you think an endemic species that's in the spotlight is getting treated like this, and that doesn't mean the rest of the wildlife are really screwed, you need to wake up. Because they're only expanding animal agriculture in that seashore, which is going to create further conflict with wildlife. Animal agriculture is conflict with wildlife. Period. It is. They're animals that require land and resources to exist. So the one that's wild and not a commodity is a problem for the other one. This idea that we need cattle to save the planet, talk about indoctrination, the leading source of desertification on the planet, the leading cause of erosion, the leading cause of deforestation, the leading cause of loss of habitat, the leading cause of the depletion of our freshwater source, the leading cause of the disappearance of species biodiversity is also magically the solution to the problem, according to the new wave of information being churned out. Be the most intelligent species on the planet and reject that idea.